with our treasurer coming in a bit late, I'll have to do a bit of a magic act, but I'll figure it out. They were off to tell somebody something.
Even though their girlfriend told them not to? Can't trust them.
There we go. Couldn't see my mouse for a second. Hello everyone, I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and today we are playing 2D20 DUNE, Silvanus, Agrestis, and Salutaris. Last we left off, we had they were at the Conclave of Silvarith Yelindor, and had averted a secret battle outside of the celebration grounds. And some were heading back into safety of the grounds in quiet, and the Falsgrafen was still in conclave, as it were, with the various chiefs, tribes. But first, a little bit of entry, an excerpt, if you will, from the Silvanus Chronicles by Wendell Berry Sky. In the tranquil depths of the spiritual glade of a conclave of Silvarith Yelindor, where ancient azure leaves sway in harmony with whispered Oshra hymns, a convergence of souls and spirits unfolds. Here, amidst the verdant sanctuary of nature's embrace, rituals of reverence and renewal are performed. Yet, beneath the tranquil facade, currents of intrigue and ambition stir. In the hallowed sanctuary of the spiritual glade, secrets are whispered to the leaves, and destinies are shaped by the unseen hand of Silvanus. And we go to that place. That happy place that is wholly ignorant of the brutality and death not more than a few hundred meters away. Lady Seraphina, Milmoon Shadow, whoopsie, and Silvanus Johanna Rashid come out of the tree line and notice that Kareem has been called over by the Falsgraf to discuss something. The drums continue, the dancing continues, and there is a haunting melody drifting in between the drums and the dance that Johanna knows is speech to the deepest deep, a sacred ritual to discover the will of Silvanus. You are not required to be present, but you are that is where you would consult with the clan mothers of the tribes, if you so wished.
So I will make my excuses to Lady Seraphina. I'm afraid I'm needed elsewhere at the festival. Mill, would you mind escorting the lady back to Theron and her friends? Just
it would be
to
my
be sure.
pleasure.
Yes, I will head. I'm assuming the spiritual glade.
Yep. Moon Shadow.
Moon shadow, moon shadow.
I presume you escort Lady Seraphina over to where the Duke Arconix is.
Sorry, just almost inhaled my soup, so...
Do not breathe the soup!
I'll circle back to you. I'll circle to the Falsgraf and Erica III. Where are you? still ignorant of what has happened in the woods. You're still kind of doing your talking with everyone, and you're still debating how precisely you're going to do what you're doing, and then people getting the understanding of, oh, that's what you mean. Okay, we understand. Do you try to raise a new point in the grove, or do you sit to see what else is going on? What the other chiefs are intending around here?
I think I've accomplished what I came here to do, which was, if I develop more land, they will help support that effort. And they are not aware of this particularly, but I know that if that comes off, that's the first step in getting the loyalty of House Arconis, not Arconis, House Valorian,
Mm-hmm.
and by proxy Arconis. So, yeah, I think the understanding we've come to, if complete, gets me everything but Malvolus. So I will sit down.
You may give me a understanding roll. Difficulty of 2. To see what you may learn from the Council Grove that may be of use to you, because some of it's just routine stuff that has no effect on Salutaris, but you might be able to pick out something that's useful to you.
Because I'm interested in what's useful to me and the rise of my house, rather than just um, what is useful in general. I think understand power.
I could take that, yeah.
Is this relevant to botany or advanced technology?
You can choose, actually, because there's a wide variety of things coming up, so I'll flavor what information you were able to pull out of the conversation.
And I'll use advanced technology, and I'll spend a threat.
Okay. 2 momentum gained. Wrong book. From this, you're able to derive that there are certain, basically an asset that reflects your knowledge of the Silvani tribe's new devices that they're planning to sell. There are some technologies that only the Silvani use. It's mainly because it's part of its tradition, but part of it is this tech is very useful in arboreal environments. And they realize that Ikaz will in other arboreal planets, but Ikaz especially now, could use things that are more specialized, that are different from what they normally use. Perhaps even selling it to would-be foresters who would want to go into woods and learn new things. So there's this new. They're planning to show their to start selling the technology to Chom, and they basically the chiefs have appealed to Wind Whisper to start making approaches to the Chom representatives in the Palace of Silvanus capital city, to start figuring out what kind of prices they may expect, what kind of prices they want. They're not going to bother selling it if it's not going to go to Chom for a certain Solari amount, that sort of thing. So you know that something that no one else in the Imperium even knows right now. You know that they're gonna start selling the stuff. Like most of the stuff they sell is stuff you'd have to buy at a trade plaza or go to a tribal ground and buy it from somebody. They're planning to try to increase their profits from just selling their stuff, especially with the current Can League conflict with that Akaz is having. The reason why advanced technology comes into it is that this tech it's stuff like the forest shadow weave that gives better camouflage, the living structures where you can with certain devices you can help craft instead of like cutting down the tree and turning it to lumber, you can like pull it out of the wood and try to create very rapid housing or buildings. And the other thing they're probably going to try to sell is the whispering wind devices, very small handheld devices that sound like just rustling leaves and stuff, but there's a certain sound frequency they make that makes the different things talk to each other better. A skilled person who knows how these things work can intercept it, but it's different than your normal radio stuff. Downside is it only works so far, because radio goes as far as radio can bounce off an atmosphere and stuff, whereas the wind devices need the wind to carry it, so to speak. And it really only works well in arboreal environments. Otherwise, you hear rustling leaves in a city or in a desert. It kind of gives away that something weird's happening.
Yeah. The tribes here, they're not considered shareholders in Chom, right?
The chiefs have shares as far as the Silvani woods are concerned. So they are shareholders in Chom, but they have very minimal. They have the minimum amount that they're required to have as a house would normally have. Most houses, even yours, would have an extension. Like you probably have some stock in rice on the Atreides world or oil from Giddy Prime or something like that. But your majority stock is on your home world because you control that. Whereas here, they have some stock. The largest stockholder is Wind Whisper, but again, it's all a single part portfolio. They just have the Silvani sap and various other foodstuffs they make out of the woods.
Okay, because I thought if they didn't have a direct relationship with Chom, then
they don't have a great one. Like they're kind of. That's like saying if I own some stock, I'm a in-depth Wall Street stockbroker. It's like, no, I have stock. I even have a lot of stock, but I don't go to Wall Street at all that often, or Yonge Street in Canada. So the relation is thin. Mainly, it's Wind Whisper is their contact. That's why they're talking to him.
Okay, I was thinking that I thought the tribes were were compared to a minor house. And they have kind of similar amount, even if it's in a single thing. If they have a similar amount of stock to us.
Well, they're nascent. They have less than you. That's okay. They're lower power than you. They are a minor house, but they're a weaker minor house. Mostly by choice. They've chosen to kind of stay out of the politicking and commercializing in Kaitan. Whereas now they're trying to move a little deeper into it because they see a way to make more money. At least the Chom side of it, but And since you make the roll, I will highlight that is the they'll probably run into difficulty because unlike them, you have a commercial relationship with Chom a lot more than they do. Like you're a stockholder who runs a business that answers to directors of Chom, and you're part of the grand imperial market. They're part of it, but they're more like small business versus a full company or firm. So the negotiating power is a lot weaker than it otherwise would be. But yeah, any momentum or threat you wish to ask further questions off your roll?
Um, no questions, but I do want to, right, as this topic's coming up, I want to make a few minor suggestions of things that I'm sure Wind Whisper already knows, like when you meet with the charm representative, you should say this and you should say that. Just trying to seem helpful. But the real point of the conversation would be like, right, if it was me negotiating instead of Wind Whisper, I could get a lot better. I don't want to do that as innuendo. I don't want to call him out directly, but just be like, yeah, you should try these things and these things. Of course, I've never had to do that because, we have a better relationship, but you should try these things.
Are you hoping that they'll try to ask you to do it instead of Wind Whisper, or you're just chiming in to?
Well, eventually I want to be the I want even though they don't really vibe with the concept or get it, eventually I want them to be effectively a vassal of mine. So part of that would be increasing their interest in having me as their spokesperson, to the point where I become the person that they talk to and everyone else talks to me to get to them. So I kind of see this as like a first stage of suggesting I would be a better representative. Right. I could, because then after that, once I'm look good as a representative, right, then I can more effectively pitch vassalage. At least their understanding of vassalage is like just having tribal members under me.
Let's call this a communicate roll. Difficulty 3.
All right. I'm going to give you threats. Spin 2 on communicate power, because I'm trying to use access that I have that they do not have as leverage. With the focus innuendo, because I do not want to say this directly. I want it to be understood but not heard. Right. And I'm gonna get to, for free, I'm gonna, because of subtle words, I'm going to create the trait on I guess on the I don't. So it's upon the character I've spoken to. So who would you say that is?
You're speaking to the council as a whole.
Okay.
So I would actually say you could pick out which of the chiefs you want to influence here, whether it's Wind Whisper, Sapweaver, Stonebark, or Moonshadow.
Sapweaver is the most important to me right now, so I'd like to put the trait upon him of deferential. Then he's starting to see the wisdom of deferring to me.
Yeah. So you chime in and give your input and wisdom. And you find that Wind Whisper at first doesn't seem to catch what you're doing. And as you go on, he seems to, like, as he's talking, it does seem to you that he has clued in. But I'll note to you, he didn't oppose the role. He just let you try to talk to the council. He asked a question like a Wind Whisper chief would, rather than the high chief, the chief of the tribes as a whole.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, go ahead.
I believe we'll move from there.
Yeah.
Back to the marshal, if she's available.
Yes.
So yeah, you have the Lady Seraphina. What do you do with her?
I will escort her back.
As you walk back, you notice that Lady Seraphina makes a good show of kind of hiding. Had you not seen her get the barbs pulled out of her arm and bandaged, now she looks like she is unhurt. Like she's walking smoothly. She seems to be breathing just fine. Just kind of pull a shawl over her arm to kind of hide the holes, that sort of thing. And you notice that the Falsgraf, who is speaking with Kareem, there are a few of his few bodyguards around him that weren't around him before. You don't remember assigning you or the Falsgraf and assigning them to him. And
Okay.
the Lady Seraphina kind of goes to her number to kind of whisper quietly at them, and actually she ends up talking. She gives you a nod of thanks and kind of talks to the ambassador Drakan a bit to kind of try to get him to go away as he's talking with Arconis. But she obviously wants to say something to Theron, but can't while the ambassador's here.
Gotcha. As a question, given that I was likewise wounded, can I also have been covering up the injury?
Like stiff upper lip and hide it sort of stuff?
Yeah, because I don't exactly want to draw attention to the fact that we just survived an assassination attempt.
I'd call that a discipline roll, difficulty 2.
Okay. Duty. I don't want the house to lose face. Is that okay?
I'll take that, yep.
Difficulty 2. I'm gonna buy 2 extra dice with momentum. So that should have zeroed out our momentum.
All right, 2 dice, Doy.
And I have no focus to use.
Well, you got it.
Yes.
As you similarly, stiff upper lip kind of adjust your uniform a little bit to hide where you were hit.
I'll move my forest shadow weave cape over it to cover it up. Since I know she wants the ambassador to leave, can I make a communication roll to try to convince him to turn his attention to me and we can head out?
What topic do you try to pull him away with? It could change the difficulty.
Reckon. One moment.
Certainly.
What do I know about his? I think he's with House Valorian, if memory serves. Or am I wrong? Is he with Malvolus?
He's with Malvolus.
Okay. We had arranged the military action previous session, right? The military exercise?
Kareem certainly did, yeah.
Would I have been aware of that at this point?
Give me, I don't think it was mentioned to you, but give me understand difficulty 1. You might have picked it up from the troops around you, or you might overhear and puzzle together what the ambassador's talking about in the middle of his conversation. Oh, generate 1.
Nice.
Yeah, part of it is how Durkan's talking to Arconis, and part of it is stuff you overhear from the false Grafen to the treasurer. And you're now aware on your own that they're apparently the treasurer has offered to perform a military action between your houses, some sort of exercise.
I'll see if he's willing to speak with me on the topic of the exercise, so that I can understand what needs to be prepared logistically.
Give me communication difficulty 1.
Okay. I'll go duty on this one as well. I don't think I have a good focus.
I'll have to step in there. Your drive statement, Lady Seraphina, is not of your house or your people.
Ah. In that case, power?
I could see power, yeah.
Okay. Just do... What was the difficulty again?
1, because you're talking about something he really wants to hear.
Okay. I'm not going to buy extra dice in that case. I have no focus. Oh, dang it. Alright, I'll spend my determination on that. I actually do want to succeed on this, so I'll re-roll that.
Power must be used wisely and cleverly?
Yes.
Early?
In that I want to ensure that we make a good showing during the exercise, because hopefully that way it will both earn the respect of House Malvolus and also make them reevaluate whether or not we're a soft target.
Very good, I'll take it.
Okay. Re-rolling. Okay, that's better.
1. And because you got any successes, Lady Seraphina will try to
I get to roll my d20 to see if I regain my determination. I do not.
Seraphina creates a complication when she tries to assist you, but she'll just soak it.
Okay.
So kind of wince a bit and draw his attention, but ultimately you're able to kind of pull him away to talk about the conversation. He's suspicious of Seraphina, but he doesn't know what for because you kind of pulled him away.
Yeah. Says, I'll speak with him about the exercise and what he wants to see happen on it. What he has in mind, those sorts of things.
He's largely hoping to get a good space battle sorted out. Try to figure out how your forces might respond to long distance shots and resisting an attempt of them to put an artillery in orbit of your planet. So kind of a, you're the defender, they're the attacker. How do you stop this strategy? And if you do, then they can figure out, okay, well, if we do this with some other planet, how do we address that, and vice versa? How do we address a super weapon coming into orbit? What strategy should we be using?
Gotcha.
Drakon is very brass dry, if you follow me. You know what I mean? The sort of high level, that high level military officer who has all these grand ideas, but the actual nuts and bolts are a bit have been something distant from him for a while.
Gotcha. As a question, could I make an understand roll? Because I'm not opposed to the topic of the exercise, because I think my house would also gain advantage out of this. But what I'm trying to understand from him is whether or not this is a what's the word?
A prelude?
Yeah, a ploy. Whether or not they're looking, oh, we're just doing an exercise, haha. Actually, we're actually invading.
I would take an understand roll, difficulty 2.
Okay. Does my danger sense apply?
It would, because you're trying to feel them out if there is danger there.
Okay. And I'm gonna use power, because if I was House Malvolus and I had their strength and there was a up and coming house, it's something I'd be thinking about doing. So. And I'll buy an extra again.
Say again, sorry?
Does my danger sense focus kick in?
Still does, yeah.
Yes? Okay. Holy crap. Okay. That was worth the momentum.
4. Well, you spent a momentum, which I already grabbed, I believe.
Yeah, I spent 1.
Yeah, you have, at least for Ambassador Drakon, if there is any such ploy in effect, the Ambassador's not aware of it. For him, he's, it seems a very impromptu idea, that he and the Treasurer kind of talked about, and his excitement and his in-depth planning belies that they are the sort of house that has war plans for every situation, no matter how minor.
Gotcha.
You're probably like War Plan Shadow Green or something like that, among the manifold Imperium ones. So, whether or not someone beyond him has that plan, the Ambassador doesn't know.
Okay. So then, after I've gotten what I want out of the conversation, I would let him talk about what he wants, because I understand what he wants out of the exercise, so I know what we need to prepare, and I also understand what degree of threat to expect from the exercise. So we want to make a good showing, but we don't necessarily have to be on full military footing on this one.
Yeah. You continue your conversation with the Ambassador as we swing the camera over to Kareem Kabata, who is you were on your way to speak with the Falsgrafen, I believe.
Yes, I was.
And you were you got ahead of everyone, but unfortunately you kind of got summoned by the Falsgraf, Falsgrafen's husband, to Sebastiano Fraioli. He wanted to speak with you, and he made a big show of it. So it turned into one of those you couldn't really walk away from him, because he's a noble summoning you around a bunch of people. So there's a quick moment of it'll take like 5 minutes and you should be done. Except it doesn't turn into 5 minutes, it turns into 10 minutes and then 15 minutes and then, oh my god, why is he still talking to me? Because most of it is just him it seems like he wants a report of what at first there's a few questions about what you've been doing, how do you think of the orchard, this is the Duke Arconis, this, that, and the other. And then it turns into him asking, not for particulars, but like general questions about it seems like he wants to brag about how wealthy the house is to the Duke Arconis. And without a roll, you start cluing in on that pretty quickly, that he's using you to flaunt the wealth of your house at the Duke. And somewhere along the way, you notice that he gets some bodyguards kind of float over to him at some point away, that you didn't see him come down with initially. But he acknowledges them and he just carries on the conversation. Eventually you see the Lady Seraphina. Like, the conversation goes on for so long, the Lady Seraphina catches up to you and rejoins your party, and you see Moonshadow taking away Ambassador Dracan, you know.
Well, I'd like to also try and politely get a way out if I can, because I have to inform the Falsgrafen as to what the hell just occurred.
Give me a pose communicate roll. The Falsgraf really wants to show off, and he's not going to let you decide when you get to leave. He does. He's the Falsgraf, and so on.
Communication duty?
Let me see. Yeah, I'd take duty.
Focus and charm?
Yeah, I can see that. He's gonna buy a die.
I'm gonna buy 2 with momentum.
Yep.
It's not so bad. How much have you got?
I have 2 so far, but I have to check something. Waiting for my PDF to load. That 13 may hit. You might be tied. So I imagine it's one of those, like, you're both talking, you're trying to find a polite way to get away from him without insulting the man. It's like, no, totally. Oh, yeah, no, oh.
It's like, but there's something I really have to say to your wife.
Oh, come on, that can wait. This, that, and the other. It's like, oh, God. No, but it's really
you don't
important.
understand.
What is it? Well, I can't say what it is. You daft fool. Let me leave.
It's like, how do I tell him there's someone after my head without telling him there's someone after my head?
So that makes 1, 2, and 3. We're tied.
So we end up tied?
Yes, although thankfully you're the one doing the action, he's the one setting the difficulty, so you do succeed, just barely.
Alright, well, I'll give him some bollocks excuse, like, I'm sorry, I have to use the little boys' room, and then I'd like to head over to the Falsgraf and post haste.
Oh. Well, if that's the case,
Don't tell me he's gonna spawn a mobile toilet.
Well, in certain eras of time, they did have people with the little porta potty things or whatever. In the Sun King's time, why the Marseille, the Hermitage smelled so bad. Anyway, no, he instead says, well, take Antonio with you. He needs to use it anyway.
Most excellent, sire, of course. Young Master Antonio, will you please follow me?
I need to go. Hurry. He'll fall after you.
Well, is the false graph in your bathroom?
Give me understand difficulty 1. As you kind of look, you know she's in the grove. You're trying to remember. You're trying to look around like, wait a minute, where does he go out here anyway?
Understand duty? God, I am trying to understand some duty right now.
It's true.
Well, one with a comp.
Do you want to give me 2 threat or have the comp hit you?
Is he gonna fucking pee himself? I'll give you the 2 threat.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're able to find. There's a moment of, oh no, does he have like just piddle in the woods or something? And then you see, oh no, there it is. There's a little like bathroom area just hidden behind some trees and stuff.
And then I'd like to take him when he's finished along with me to the false graffin.
Okay. You get as far as the edge of the council grove. Some guards nearby stop you from getting closer, but you're within you're within sight distance that obviously the false graffin can see you're trying to get to her. And the guards kind of look and they clear their throat, and the whole grove just goes silent, and all the chiefs and their aides look over at the young man and the older man, and then they look to false graffin because, well, obviously these are her people.
Yeah, I'll get up and move towards them. And I'll say, Treasure, your presence here has been deeply needed for some time.
Yeah.
My
Oh, sorry.
my apologies, Falsgrafen, but I bring urgent news. I'm sure that I may have been needed to you, but I would much rather be needed alive rather than dead. I was walking in the orchards just a few moments ago when an attempt on my life has been made, not only mine, but the good lady Seraphina's as well.
If you wish to keep this from being overheard, you'll need to communicate at least difficulty 1. Otherwise, the guards and some of the chiefs might have overheard what you just said.
I'll do that. Communicate duty.
Yeah, it's just difficulty 1 because they're not trying to overhear you, but you might talk a little too loud. Uh-oh.
I'll take the L on this one. I'll write down. You guys write down that advancement point.
Oh, advancement point. It's difficulty 1.
Yeah, but we failed it.
It needs to be 3 or higher.
God dang it. I'll take the L on this one.
The guards make no particular. They do look over at the conversation, but they have a particular duty, so they're staying to it. Chief Windwhisper does look over and looks over at the false graffin. And you see a look of him. He doesn't say nothing, but you can, as a skilled person of innuendo, you can tell he's saying, "Are you all right? Do you need help?" Without saying it out loud in front of the other chiefs.
I look intently at Cream and I say, "Was anyone injured?"
The Lady Seraphina has been shot with some arrows.
I think we should adjourn for now, everybody. So see to the dancers, enjoy the drumming, and we'll pick this up in about an hour.
Who's speaking?
Windwhisper, as he's calling. He's drowning out Kareem, so the chiefs don't hear what he's saying.
I turn around and I look kind of sternly at Windwhisper, and I want to try to communicate to him without. I kind of almost do want to undermine him, in that I want to say, everyone's going to stay right here, but I don't want to say that
Difficulty
out
4,
loud.
communicate.
Yeah.
You're trying to overrule the ruler in his own territory.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to overrule him. I just don't want. I want him to understand that I've overruled him. I don't want other people around him to think that that's what happened. Communicate power.
Yep.
I'll use determination because I'm pretty sure this is in line with my statement. Any pushbacks here?
Yeah, I'll take that statement.
Okay, focus and innuendo because it's mostly meant for him. And I'll spend 2 momentum. That's 6 successes.
Gain 2.
Gain 3, right?
Difficulty was 4.
Oh, sorry. Okay, you're right. But that's a point. Because you probably didn't spin for that. That was just that difficult.
Yeah, it was just that difficult.
Okay.
Wind Whisper gives you a stern look, but the other chiefs kind of they all stand from their seated positions. Various war clubs and knives, not ready to fight, but like they're not ready to attack you, but they've seemed to have read this as you saying that the whole place is in danger. So they're kind of standing as if you've you've basically pulled an alarm at the Grove. Not that the rest of the orchard or the plaza knows what's going on, because that's kind of why the Grove's farther away.
But everyone kind of stays put for a second.
Yeah, and when Whisper actually quiets down, gives you narrows his eyes at you. Do you wish to address the Grove with what you've learned, Falsgrafen?
As soon as I've had a moment to learn it, I'm going to use my ability, since I spent dice on a communicate roll, to also put the trait deferential on Wind Whisper. Yeah, so I'll return to speaking to Kareem and say, oh yeah, because I think you were interrupted. You only got to half the people that were injured.
Yes. The Lady Serafina was fortunately rescued by her Bene Gesserit training. Other than that, the new swordmaster has suffered several injuries and he would require medical attention.
Did you identify who they were?
No, sire, but I believe the others who were there, namely the Reverend Mother, have begun investigating post-haste.
I will. So who is investigating?
The spy master, sire, and your marshal as well, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'll grab a nearby guard and tell them to go get Millie.
Other than that, sire, if I may suggest, it might be a wise time to leave, perhaps. It is getting a little bit hot here. And I don't mean the weather.
Yeah, I'll say. Wait just a moment for the marshal to arrive.
And I needed to clarify. Do you get one of your guards, or do you try to pull one of the Silvani tribe guards? Because your guys are kind of floating around the orchard anyway, so you could motion to them and go, hey, come here, go get her.
I was just thinking whoever was available. If I would prefer to send my people, but I'm not going to go search for one of them.
Yeah, no, the moment, yeah, some guards would have, because you have them split deployment, there are people kind of floating around, so someone will notice that the two of you went that way, and it's like, we'll put some guards over that way. Oh, you need me to get the marshal? Okay, I better go get them. As that goes on, a certain spy master enters into the spiritual glade.
Very good. It's apparently an 8-bit spiritual glade.
As you enter into the glade, you notice the dancing and drumming. The drumming drums out, and the chanting drowns out most of what's happening here to the outside, and the outside inside. And when you step into this glade, you are awash in subtle incenses and the low droning chanting of the Oshra. The Azure Leaves, much to your familiarity with your other memory, are Silvani tribespeople like many others, but they are dressed far more brilliantly in their blues. They mark themselves in the light blue Silvani sap, staffed by the clan mother of the Azure Leaves, of course, along with various other younger women who are trying to learn what it is to do what you're doing. There's also other clan mothers who are here, like of the Sapweaver, the Stonebark, the Moonshadow, and so on. But the Azure Leaf and the Oshar ones are the ones that lead such things, for they are understood to be more spiritual than the other clan mothers are. But they learn from them, sort of thing. We're all working together. Of the Ashra look distinctly not of Silvanus. There are the traits, there's the paint, there's the clothing, there's the shared ritual. What sets them apart is that rather than waving of incense and tobacco in their presence in Silvani sap, around them is a certain stillness, a certain quiet. They are, and they seem to be speaking a different language that you know is of the prayers of the Zensuni. The Oshra tribe are one of the few remnants of the Great Migration of the Zensuni across the Imperium, as they were chased around and ultimately ended up elsewhere in the Imperium, in Arrakis. As you enter, you notice there's no great guards, like the Glade or in the Plaza. There's just this quiet acknowledgement that you're there, and then no one raises a word to you. No one cries out or anything like that. If anyone came in here who wasn't supposed to be, it would take but a few words from these clan mothers to have anyone in the main orchard rush over here to throw out the intruder.
Well, relying on other memory, if I need to, I will find my place and take it.
Understand difficulty 1.
Understand faith, I would guess.
I would say so.
just roll flat. Is other memory gonna help here?
It will, yeah.
So that's 4 hits.
Generate 3. There are 3 places in this circle, or semicircle, if you will, because one part of the circle is left open because that is the seat of Silvanus, from which the wisdom and the rustling of the leaves can be heard. And there are 3 places you could sit during one of these conclaves. One is with the Azure Leaf Clan Mother, and that means that you're focusing the rituals. Like, there's certain rituals they have to do just to renew the trees, renew their faith, talk with their ancestors, all that. But you have a certain guiding light about what you do because of your relationship with the Will of Silvanus. So you can, if you sit with the Azure Leaves, you want to focus the Clan Mothers on looking inward, like looking upon Silvanus and its moons, and trying to learn what may be done, or what should be done, what needs to be done. If you sit among the Ashra, you're asking them to look outward to the stars, to distant places across, which is understood to be the Imperium. In the early days, it was a lot more simple, over 10,000 years ago. But nowadays, it's understood. You mean other planets. You mean you want us to look outward and learn answers there. The third is you sit alone. And that's when you aren't trying to guide them one way or the other, but you do wish to be present and learn. Because each of them are trying to learn questions to answer for themselves and for their tribes. Whereas you can either be helping them all the Sylvanian tribes look one way or the other, or you're just focusing on yourself. And that's your prerogative. That's your role here.
Okay. I'm honestly thinking a kind of inward focus on the Silvanus and its moons and the will of Silvanus thereunto is probably where we ought to be looking. So I'll sit with the Azure Leaf.
The various Clan Mothers and young women, like, before you know it, a small cushion's brought out for you.
I nod in thanks.
A small incense bowl is brought to you with a offering of smaller bowls, various different incenses, and some tobacco for offering. So you can kind of focus what you're thinking about, or you want everyone else to think about. And sometimes it's just preference. Some people just prefer a certain scent when they're communing.
Right.
So, what do you focus upon? The more difficult to get the answer, the higher the difficulty. The simpler the question, the more vague the question, the more easy the roll, because it's easier for you as a group to figure this out.
Unifying the peoples of the system of Silvani and its moon.
What of it?
That's what I was focusing on.
Okay. Difficulty 3. Discipline, I would say.
So, in focusing on that, I mean, maybe I was too broad. Can I do I don't know, next steps or best steps or course to begin to move towards that unification kind of thing?
You could just increase the difficulty.
Okay, let's try it. Worst comes to worst, we get an AP.
Well, no, because I'm not spending anything. That's just you trying a harder thing.
Well, but if I fail a diff 3 or above, I get.
If you fail it, that's true.
Yeah. So.
So next steps and such. Yeah, that'd be diff 4 because you're narrowing the focus.
Okay. Could that be an understand?
It's a lot of sitting there and trying to focus and listen to the murmuring
Okay.
around you.
Okay, so discipline, yeah. Discipline truth, though.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let me go ahead and spend my determination on my truth statement. I will discover the truth.
Okay.
Got 6 momentum, so I will give you 2 for a third die.
Okay.
This one, I don't think either of my focuses apply here, so that's 4. Hit it right on.
It is murmured among the clan mothers that the first steps are being made to that end, have been made to that end. But there is an air of uncertainty, a coming of age of a house. There is old resentments that need to be resolved. And a the different murmuring you hear among them, even under your own breath as you're all focusing, is poison. A poison must be flushed, or a falsehood needs to be flushed. And there's some discussion, a quiet discussion among the clan mothers and with you, like trying to figure out which of these is it, who said more than the other. And it seems to be generally understood that it's the poison and the illusion are the same, which implies it's probably not it's not a literal poison. They presume. A poison needs to be flushed, or a poisonous illusion, I suppose, needs to be flushed. Yeah. That's what you gathered for in that inward look with the help of the clan mothers. You can ask follow-up questions with momentum, because that's you just talk with the other clan mothers like, hey, what this, that, or the other. What do you think about that? Because they might be able to give focus or clarity on a topic, because that clan mother knows that information more than you do. Or that young girl knows that had her rumor that might apply and she didn't realize it was important.
Okay. So yeah, let's spend a momentum to obtain information. I think hyper awareness will kick in here.
Oh, I believe it does, doesn't it?
And as a imbiber of the royal blue tea, I can get 4 questions off of that 1 momentum instead of just 2 with hyper awareness.
Very good. What are your 4 questions? Well, you don't have to ask them all at once, but you have 4 questions right now.
Right. So, okay. So, what, who has been poisoned? Or who is operating under the influence of this illusion.
The House of Beauty. And then people murmur. And then it's obvious to everyone, like, oh, well. And they look at you like, oh, well, that answers that. Aren't all houses beautiful? Well, no. The murmuring... There's only one house that's known for that.
Okay. What is the source of the poison?
A far-off world of darkness, secrecy.
And who is the local poisoner, I guess? Who is the one doing the poisoning? Like in the immediate sense.
He of the moon, but not born of it. Which is lost on the Clan Mothers. They don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? Because hyper-awareness would help with this.
He of the moon, but not born. The player off the top of his head does not know who this might be referring to, but I do have the one question left. Who is that?
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
That won't cost you anything, because you're getting this from hyper-awareness. You're seeing things they aren't. Or you're understanding things they don't.
Thought that might be it. Okay. Gives me some.
You have one question remaining.
Yep. What illusion is he perpetuating? What is the core of the illusion, the poison? What's the meme? Oh.
You hear a variety of things people say, and no one here seems to understand this, because this is getting into high level. This is the only people who might catch this is you actually see a knowing look on the Clan Mother of the Azure Leaves, who gives you a look, because you're the only two imbibers present. So it's a wait a minute. She understands what that means. Now you understand what that means.
Right.
But no one else here understands it. It's a lot of allegory and other words and murmurs that add up to something that doesn't make sense to them. But you two understand.
Okay. Okay, I think that gives me good information.
Camera will swing back to the Council Grove as the Marshal is pulled over to the outskirts of it, with various chiefs on their feet, looking like they're ready to really hurt somebody.
I say, Marshall, who attacked Kareem?
Um, I am not 100% certain as to the identity of the assailant. I'm hesitate to speculate in such public of a setting.
They had no identifying markings or trinkets.
They wore the symbol of the Redeemer cult.
It figures, says Thalor.
Um, the false Graffin looks around and paces one or two steps and then turns back around to the council and says, "You'll have to excuse me. One of my treasured advisors has had an attempt on his life by the Redeemer Inquisition. So I find myself with a war to solve. Um,
As do we, Falsgrafen.
they should already be brought to heel on Agrestis. I am returning home to root them out. You should do the same. I intend to request that the Dukes Arconis and Valorian do something before someone has to take extreme steps to eradicate this cult.
We'll see them out of the will of Silvanus will see them out of this wood. We'll leave the moon and the continent across the water to you. It won't serve for us to send rangers over there and cause mischief unless it needs to be done.
He means like the place that's not really governed by any of the houses.
He's clearing so basically all of this side they're going to clear out. They're going to go on a warpath and start looking for people, looking for the cult and trying to shove and just clear out any hidden camps they may have. But they won't cross into... This is one whole continent of its own, one major continent. There's the other major continent that they could move a bunch of people there, but yeah. That looks like an invasion if they do that.
All right. Were there any survivors among them, Marshall?
I think they all wound up getting killed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we killed them all.
All right. Kareem, I need you to make your way to the steward's palace and convince the Dukes Arconis and Valorian to do something about this in their territory.
It's one sire, of course, sire.
And I will, Marshal, we will be heading back immediately. And we are going to cleanse our moon.
Absolutely, Falsgrafen.
And then I will head back to the main orchard to gather up the troops and go back to the ship.
You start heading back. Various chiefs start mobilizing out and start spreading out to gather people. And Wind Whisper kind of follows after you, and says, Marshal, which direction were their bodies left?
I will give directions to where we left them.
Falsgrafen will inform you once we've cleared the continent. I hope to hear a victory on your moon. We've had enough of this. Now they've attacked both of us and insulted these woods. This can't be left to stand. I don't care what the steward has to say about it.
I'd say to Wind Whisper. He will see wisdom and do the same in his territory, or you and me will do it for him. And then I'll leave.
Wind Whisper rushes off to the woods with some of his own. He starts calling people to follow after him, and they go off into the woods to start searching for the bodies and figuring out what the hell happened up there. Meanwhile, some people, as the questions continue on, Spymaster, you notice that there's a commotion and a lot of talk, and you see that it looks like very quickly you realize that the tribes seem to be mobilizing for war. And then,
So this disturbance penetrates into the spiritual grove.
Yeah, because they start coming up to the edge, and then people start rising to say, "What are you doing here?" This, that, and the other, and they very quickly explain what was learned in the grove. You see the chief of the Sapweavers and Stonebarks calling over their clan mothers because they need to get ready.
Well, I will get up and thank the young women who provided the cushion and the assistance, and thank the Azure Leaves for allowing me to sit with them and meditate with them, and then I will make my way out to rejoin our party.
The other group, you start marching gather up in the main orchard on your way to the gathering clearing.
Oh, so.
You guys have any words to share before you enter the clearing? This is a bit of a walk to cross the grounds, and as everything's kind of stopped and everyone's kind of gathering up and getting ready to leave.
Joanna will ask where the Falsgrafen is.
You see the Falsgrafen right there.
Oh, sorry, the Falsgraf. Does a player misspeak?
Who do you ask this of?
Well, I'm just coming with the group looking around, and so I guess I will ask one of the condemned. Where's the Falsgrafen? The Falsgraf. Gah.
They look at you and say, he left on the orbital with Duke Arconis and the Lady Seraphina.
arrived on the orbital shuttle, you mean?
Yes,
Wait.
Reverend Mother.
And I'll stroll over to Joanna and kind of positioning myself where, hopefully I can't really be overheard, very softly say, I'm told the Fallscroft has accompanied Duke Theron and Lady Seraphina on their orbital shuttle. Were you aware of this movement?
Eric will say in an agitated voice, "No, I was not aware. But Kareem is headed to the capital. He will see to the Falscraft's safe return to the moon."
I shall try to do my best, sire, of course.
Well,
Perhaps
if you
someone,
fail, don't bother coming back.
perhaps someone should accompany Kareem in case he encounters any difficulties.
I have no one to spare.
I shall manage somehow on my own. I appreciate the concern, Reverend Mother, but in Mentat school they teach you not only numbers.
Fair enough. But before you leave, if you would be so good as to carry a message to the Lady Seraphina for me.
Of course. What is it?
Okay. I'd like to spend 2 momentum to create an asset. Bene Gesserit coded dots.
Okay.
Beware the false Fallscroft.
Hang on. Let me save you. I have a memocorder. You want to write that down on that?
No. This is coded.
Only a
can
Bene
code
Gesserit
it
would be
on
able
the
to
memo.
uncode it.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it would not technically be that unusual for the Reverend Mother to be handing a string of Bene Gesserit dots to be delivered to another Bene Gesserit.
It'd be like an innocuous letter that had information on it, and then somewhere on it there's dots.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will pass that along when I see her next.
Please do make sure she gets it. And thank you again.
Of course. Sire, I must depart. And I'll head off.
Since you alerted the chiefs to the situation, and the gathering's been broken up, word has already been sent forward to the tribes, to the tribe guards there, to secure transport for anyone of House Beleza and others as well. But they're giving you priority because they know that you're the one that was directly attacked, or you were part of that. Rather, you were part of it in the sense that you're going to go war with them, so they want you to move quicker. So there's no rule for orbital transport because the tribes want you to be able to leave.
So I created the asset orbital transport to get down here.
And then your Falscroft took it.
Oh, he took ours.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than what.
Yeah,
That's
okay, I
much.
wasn't
That's much
understanding
more
that either.
infuriating than what I was told.
Yeah, you notice its absence when you get to the clearing.
Can I try and subtly communicate to Erica without actually coming out and saying it? I don't know, that which I'm sure she kind of already knows, but basically wanting to say what the false graven is doing seems very dangerous to her. What the false graph is doing seems dangerous for the false graven. That's what I'm trying to communicate.
You could communicate that. There's so much commotion and confusion going on. Actually, I take that back. That will require
Girl, your husband is up to some shit.
Give me a communicate roll, difficulty 2. And the false graffin can assist because you might notice an innuendo coming at you and try to clarify it in innuendo. Like, what do you mean? Sorry.
Okay. Judy?
Yeah, I believe anyway.
Focus on neurolinguistics.
Yep.
You said Diff 2?
Yes.
Okay, I'll give you 1 threat and 2 momentum. Sorry, other way around. 1 momentum, 2 threat for 3 dice.
Momentum 2 threat.
Hit it. I'm trying to be all subtle and communicate some things kind of maybe with body language. Could I use Piranha Bindu to reroll those 2?
Okay.
2 because I have the tea drinker.
Also, since you used neurolinguistics, you're trying to implant the idea in my mind as if it was my idea?
Move or discipline, unfortunately.
Ah, correct. Not so much as if it was your idea, just kind of
make you realize it on your own.
Using language to, be indirect, I guess. So we hit it.
You did hit it, yep. The information is shared in its strange way.
This does seem to be an annoyance. Can I spend threat to create an asset?
You can.
Neurolinguistics actually deals with brain damage.
Well, I mean, I think the focus in the book is about
that NLP mind manipulation stuff.
Yeah, convincing other people that something you've told them was their idea. Then I will spend 2 to create a communicator.
Okay. Easily done. And it makes sense you'd have one of those. Hell, you could just grab it from Condemned if you didn't have it. You, give me yours. Okay.
And I'll call the transport.
Oh, wait, it's a communicator. I don't need to mark it. Handheld one. Doop. It takes a bit as you call out to them, and then... Oops, fudge muffins. Come here. Oh no, it did work. This is orbital transport. Beleza 26. False Graffin, we hear you loud and clear now.
You're ordered to return to the tribal clearing at maximum speed.
Acknowledged. We will be on our route with all speed available. And any one of you can give me a roll here of... I suppose understand. Understand difficulty 2 to see if you can spot the orbital as it's coming towards you. And others can assist because you're all kind of you're probably all looking at what direction is it coming from.
I think Graves
Understand
probably got
truth.
the best to understand.
Yeah, understand truth
Yeah.
for me.
I agree with that.
Understand. I don't know if the numbers don't lie will help you see things, friend.
Understand. Oh well, look, we got one there. Understand justice?
I assist.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think you just roll 1 dice for assist now.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I rolled 2 by mistake.
Well, take 1/3 for thingy. Here you go.
3, 4, 5. 2 so far. All right, 3. Does the false Griffin wish to assist? He does not have to, but I want to.
No.
Yeah, you see the orbital transport. The first place you kind of look is the obvious, straight up, because orbitals usually go straight up and straight down, but they can fly in the atmosphere, so you eventually start scanning around the tree line looking for it. And you see it off in the west, starting to approach your position. And no, I'll do it this way. This makes more sense to me. Something's happening on the orbital. So what I'm going to do is have one of you roll on behalf of the pilot and the crew aboard. Because they're your people. Like, you hired an orbital and you have your people flying it and guarding it and stuff. Plus, you have the false graph and his people on there as well. I'm in the wrong book. So I'm gonna have you roll the battle of your house battle, basically representing how skilled your people are when they're not being led by you guys anyway. This is just their regular training kicking in. But it's going to be the drive isn't going to be their drive. It's going to be one of your drives. So one of you is, I think the false Craft is probably the best one here because you're the one calling them over because you're the one trying to get them to come to you. And they might clue in that something's really wrong. And that's why they need to rush over here. It's going to be an opposed roll.
Where does the skill come from?
It comes from your house. So your house battle is 5.
Okay.
Since it's a player house, it doesn't matter how the house feels about you because it's your house. So it matters the drive of whoever's trying to get the soldiers to do something. Basically, some NPCs are having a mini adventure at the moment, trying to carry out your orders. By a full mitt. That's an AP, by the way.
Are we capable
So-
of assisting the Falsgraf?
Yeah, since you're all here and you've had a house management action lately, so you all have some idea of what the troops are like.
Okay.
So battle duty.
Yep. Little sense to me.
All right. Then I'm gonna spend 1 momentum to raise the quality of the. Well, I guess it's kind of weird because it's for a unit of troops. The orbital transport people aren't doing this as orbital transport people. They're doing it as a unit of people fighting against someone else inside the transport.
You know what? It's fuzzy, but I'll use it because House of Landsrad didn't exist when that was made, so I'll take it. It makes sense because they're having their own skirmish over there, and you're like, get over here.
Yeah, this is not them as a transport. This is them as pilots with pistols.
Yeah. As people start rushing into the cockpit, it's like, oh god, what do we do? What's happening?
Yeah, so that's a momentum to raise their quality to 1.
Okay.
By 1, I assume 2-1.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you spin 2 and give 4.
2, 4.
So this is 1 less. So anything that is a 12, it has to be 11 or less. So that's only
3.
3.
3 with a complication. Any assists as you all try to, as we flash back momentarily to see how much influence you were over the orbital transport pilots during the last house management.
Are you to add my truth to the house's battle for the roll?
Look at your statement because that's usually the decider.
I will discover the truth.
How does you discovering the truth help with the orbital soldiers being better at their job than normal?
I think I know who their enemy is.
Or you will know their enemy, because, yeah. Yeah, no, I'll
Right.
take it. Yeah, no, I follow you. Oh,
Okay.
Kareem,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have
The
cut their
house is-
pay.
House's
Why?
battle is
You
5.
did argue a lot to reduce soldier pay. So
Sorry, Spymaster, go ahead. My bad.
House's battle is 5, so I'm just going to roll my communicate, which is the same score.
Okay.
1
3,
die. There we go.
5. You have 2 complicated. Well, we'll resolve those after the roll because I bought the amount of dice. I bought the dice I was gonna buy anyway. So. Oh.
Well, there's one complication nullified by theirs.
Oh right, I know what I'm looking for. Do I need to look here. Do I? No, I don't. While I'm looking that up, do you wish to soak those complications, or do you wish to give 2 threats to make them go away? 'Cause I don't think I rolled any. I did, so at least one of those is canceled out by me because I can't. I'd
How
be
many
spending to
hits did
get
you
rid of
get
it.
there?
So
How many hits did you get
I'll
there?
allow them to go through.
Well, they got 2 for sure.
Right.
So
Say 3 for
I
sure.
wonder if that 6 is a crit as well.
that 6 would not be a crit. I can say that. That I know.
What about the 11? That hit?
That's what I'm checking.
Ah,
The other half of the equation. I thought I had in front of me, and
If a 6 is not a crit, then it's kind of unlikely that 7 is a hit. That 11 is a hit.
eh,
You never know, mathematics.
I guess if they have a high skill and a low drive.
well. Pulling from a particular NPC, and I'm trying to do how I was gonna. That I knew that last week, unfortunately. So I'm like, where was that again? Oh, I'm making this hard on myself. It's in core. I'm smart. There we go. And that's the number I need to know. Double checking. That is 1, 2, 3 hits on my side.
We have 4.
5. You got 3, then Mill, then me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so I get. So
And we get a bonus.
Yeah, because your orbital troopers were a lot more adept.
And you're letting the comp go through.
Yep.
Which comp? The one on Erica or the one on Kareem? Is there
think
from
only-
two different places?
Only one of those is my decision.
That's true. Huh.
You spend 4 threat to buy a full mit there.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Another AP?
Yeah, you have the complication angry. So when you do discipline tests, you'll be increased complication because if you need to do a discipline test that requires you to maintain a certain level of calm, it'll be harder for you to. Well, not harder. It'll be more complicated for you.
Okay.
'Cause I imagine you're not happy. You will.
Nope,
you
not
will
at
not
all.
be happy to learn there was a fight on an orbital of yours. But yeah. Yeah. The anything you want to do with your side did win. Anything you want to do with that bonus momentum? As the orbital is heading your way and is getting ready to land.
Have ask a question about who was doing the fighting on the orbital transport.
It seems the Falscroft's bodyguard retinue attempt to storm the cockpit, and the pilots bravely fought them off with the assistance of the Lady Seraphina, Falscroft, and the Duke. Unfortunately, they didn't have their troops. Their guards weren't able to help because there's only so much. Eventually, it just got crowded up there, so it became a kind of a close-up fight. But the main aggressors were the bodyguard.
So these are like house guards. So we don't really have a unit after Bob left. We don't really have a dedicated house guard unit.
No, this would have been an asset of the Falscrofts.
And you said they were
Okay, so they're not. Oh, sorry.
They were fought off by the pilots with the help of Seraphina, Theron, and the Falscroft.
Yep.
Okay.
And they.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, are they just like people that he has personally hired, or were they like a detachment from the people who normally guard the fort?
They're people he would have been responsible for. They're not part of your main troop.
Okay.
Similar to how the Belez's Condemned is your thing, he has his own bodyguards for him moving around. They're people he would have brought with him from his house, from the House Frioli. But yeah, the orbital transport comes down, and Arcana steps off, Seraphina steps off, who they look very annoyed and disheveled. The guards are trying their best to pacify their superiors, who are not pleased that this happened to them, that they got attacked without their help. Falscroft himself looks not nearly as disheveled as the other two, since those two got to the fight before he did. But he looks like he's taking a bruise here or there. But it seems like most of his shield basically kicked in. His shield wasn't really much help because it was a melee fight. So he looks like a person who learned quickly that shields don't help with melee fights if someone knows what they're doing. But your pilots are fine. They're actually perfect. They look unscathed because they took pistols and started shooting up into the people. Like, so they didn't shoot into the cabin and hurt people. They're shooting up into the people attacking them. And there's a bunch of dead bodyguards that one of the transport people actually don't look to the Falscroft. Like, one of them goes over to him to make sure he's okay, but the other one, the lead pilot, comes over to you, Falscrofen, and says, "As I said on the radio, Falscrofen, we're engaged by them, but we still have them in the transport. I don't know if you want us to leave them here or bring them up with us."
Any of them alive?
For 2 momentum, one of them can be.
Joanna will study the Falscroft. Does he look disappointed, or perhaps as if something has gone according to plan?
Understand.
Excellent.
Difficulty of 5.
Oh, it's a big one, guys. Understand truth?
Yeah.
Difficulty. Are you spending that 2 momentum to have one alive, Winchester?
I'm debating it, but not for the reason that's a good reason.
Be handy to have somebody to question.
Yeah, but the Falscrofen is angry and impulsive.
You may want to take out some personal vengeance, I imagine.
Yeah, the debate is here, right? Does the combination of angry and impulsive outweigh the personality trait of just?
Does she? So here's another question: How
I'll spend it.
vengeful is she?
It's being spent. What was that, Moonshine?
Vengeance is not a personal trait, so no more than most people, right? Can be
Okay.
pushed to be vengeful, but is not vengeful by nature.
Yeah, because if she was vengeful, she might have wanted to keep them alive for an entirely darker reason.
She's not torturous.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Would by any chance, since I'm trying to like look at this guy and kind of suss out his body language and how he appears in the midst of all this, would other memory kick in here of other Reverend Mothers who have had to divine or attempt to
I would take it if it was anyone from our house in Silvanus. He's from a different world. They've almost never encountered a Frioli. Enough for it to matter.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm not gonna throw anything else at this.
Good question though. That's something that would totally fire on the houses of Silvanus, because they would have encountered them frequently. So there's certain ticks that every family tends to have.
Fair enough. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to give you 5 threat for
Red eye.
Torment. I don't think I have anything else I can throw at this. Buy as a trait, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm used to. Okay, there's a free hit anyway. Focus to apply. That is just 4. I can't quite get there, I don't think.
Any personality traits that might apply?
Yeah, that was where the 4 came from with Spy. I don't think being a Reverend Mother would help. I'll pitch it. Reverend Mother of the Bene Gesserit. Because everybody knows that it's hard to lie to the Bene fucking Gesserit.
That does not help here. Normally
Well,
it should.
Okay, what about easy to talk to? Because Joanna, she's easy to talk to. She's pretty, not somebody you really dissemble with.
You would need like a communicate to talk to him.
Okay.
This is you just looking at him without interacting with him.
And I don't mean your I don't mean traits you have from your role or whatever. I mean the actual personality traits, like
Yeah, that's where Spy came from.
you have your personality as Spy.
Well, one of your traits is your I forget what it's called.
One of them is your
build.
Well, it's like your title.
Yeah, well, I got a trait that's called Mentat.
That comes from being a Mentat, though.
Yeah, like yours, Falsecraft, for Erica is Courtier. That's the template you pull from.
Yeah,
That's where
template,
Spy
that's what
came
I'm trying
from.
to think of.
Yeah, but I mean, you have another one that describes your general personality, like Erica has impulsive and just.
Easy to talk to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think I have tried to throw everything at it that I can that I've got. So at this point, I don't think I can make the roll, but we do get an AP.
You do get an AP, yeah. You failed a 3+ test, so.
Well, we get 2 because of how much was spent and that you failed.
It was just 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's just how difficult it was. One has survived Falsecraft. If only barely.
All right. I will order everybody on the transport.
I'll get on.
I'll get out as well.
Yep.
You want us to bring the bodies as well, my liege?
Well, do we still want to give Seraphina and Theron a
Yes.
ride? they still
Oh.
want one.
Yes,
Oh,
of course.
yes, that was not a sorry, that was not a question or a if you're under my protection get on board. That was if you're in this clearing and not a native, either get on or deal with me. In fact, and yeah, I expect conflict because I'm ordering Theron and Serafina on the transport, which is not really a power I have.
Yeah. The roll automatically fails because they don't answer to you. So they have. You can try to suggest to them to come aboard, but they can't be compelled to.
But I'm not compelling. I'm not trying to compel them because I have more power. I'm trying to compel them because they don't want to deal with a unit of very.
They have their own units
strong
here with
troops.
them.
And that's the threat.
Do you wish to engage in war to enforce this? Or skirmish?
I'm trying to force them to blink first.
What?
You are talking to the house that leads yours. So if I were to give it a difficulty at all, difficulty 5, complication increased by 2.
Why are you trying to force them onto the boat if they don't want to go on the boat?
Because I don't think they're particularly well protected here.
I mean, they have their own troops.
Which, yeah, failed at their jobs.
On your
yeah,
transport.
I guess...
They seem uneager to go back on the transport that nearly got them killed. With your people in your uniforms, the ones who almost got them killed. Though your people in your uniforms also saved them. So they're very confused and not eager to get on your transport. You can try to force the issue, like threaten violence, that if they don't get on, then they're going to deal with you and your troops.
So no, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is more subtle than that, but I don't. It may not be possible. It's not literally like fixed bayonets, and it's like it's more of like you're standing in front of me and these troops, and you're in a dangerous situation. Right, the easy thing is to just get on the transport rather than argue about it, which is more subtle than I'm going to kill you if you don't get on.
It will be difficulty 5. Your house is under suspicion for their attack.
Yeah, because I wouldn't actually order the shooting to start. Right.
Perhaps it would be better to leave one of the architects behind with the Duke and the lady to accompany them as symbols of our concern.
Yes, I volunteer as tribute.
I mean, that was the other offer, is that I'm already taking Kareem to the capital. Might as well take Tim, but I guess if they're not going to go, then I'll just leave Kareem with them.
Of course. I will step out of the transport and stay here with them. And I'll try to slip Lady Serafina the thing that I got from the Reverend Mother.
I mean, it's not. You don't even really have to be surreptitious about it. It's basically just a letter.
Oh, I'll slip it to her then. I'll just go.
It just has some dots on it somewhere.
So just to make sure, because I don't want to make an assumption here, you are bringing the bodies of the dead and the prisoner with you, yes?
Temporarily.
Okay. And where's the transport going?
First it's going, I don't know, a kilometer up. Then over the open ramp we'll have a bit of an interrogation. And see how that goes.
Okay. So I will say that Kareem, there's no role for you to hand it off to her unless you're trying to make it particularly surreptitious, like you're trying to make sure no one sees you hand it to her.
No, we're just gonna, put it, like, give it to her, like, hey, this is from the Reverend Mother.
Yeah, she'll read it. Oh, sorry, the Blizz is condemned. Are they coming up with you?
Everyone is coming who I can get to come.
Yeah. Good. So she takes it. She reads it. She looks at you, Kareem. Seems to study your face. Then again, so do all the other guards that are around now.
Oh, man.
And then she nods and says, "Thank you, Mr. Kabata. I'm glad to have received this missive."
My pleasure, my lady, of course. I hope that we can find some safety while we are still down here.
What precisely is going on here?
I wish I could tell you with certainty, however, I'm afraid my mind is as clouded as yours. I have, in my calculations, approximated at least 379 possible scenarios, but none of them contained this sort of outcome. I'm afraid, my lady, I am stumped. And as you know, it does not happen to have meant that very often.
Well, we shall see what the new day brings us.
Yes, perhaps that is for the best. I don't suppose that I could perhaps try to put myself into your generous hands and humbly request protection for this evening, given everything that's happened.
Where do you need safe passage to, Treasurer? Says Theron.
If I am to stay here with you, Duke Arconis, then perhaps it would be best if I just remained here under your care for the time being, if that is quite all right with you.
Well,
If not... Oh?
We're about to take transportation back to the palace. We could see that the Silvani make sure you get a transport back to your moon.
Eventually,
unless you wish to come with us to the palace.
perhaps the palace might be a good stepping stone. Frankly, Duke, anywhere but here is better at this moment.
He looks over at Lady Seraphina and she just gives a nod at him and shrugs, goes, "Very well. Come with us, Mr. Kabata, treasurer for the house."
You have my gratitude, Duke. And I'll go with him.
Meanwhile, someone's hanging off the back of a transport a kilometer in the air.
My liege, before we take this step, perhaps we should try another method of questioning. I have a few abilities in this realm.
I think you're yelling as right. The sound is probably almost drowned out by being 5,000 feet
Well,
up.
I mean, this was going to be before you actually opened the goddamn door.
Oh. And yeah.
Opposed move if you want to see who goes first on this, because maybe you didn't realize she was going to do this right away.
So, yeah, there will have to be some effort from Joanna to step in here because right now I got two traits pushing me this way, and only one against. So this is where Eric is going, unless someone.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and move to block
Well, actually,
this move before I can.
I'll call for discipline from Falsgrafen and understand from the River Mother, because it may not be occur to you that she's going to do this. You know that you're going up a kilometer, and then you might not clue in until she's already hit the big red button to open up the ramp, and at that point it's a whole lot different problem. So you might realize something's up before you even get up a kilometer, because it does take time to get up there.
Understand
Are you
truth?
sure discipline? Because the whole reason I'm doing this is because of lack of discipline.
That's to see if you're trying to hide that you're like, are you like shouting the whole way up that I'm gonna throw this guy off the back, or are you trying to keep that to yourself until you get up a kilometer? Like, how obvious is it that he's going off the back of that ramp in the next hour?
I think Erica's spending the time pacing and thinking. Right, there's no need to. This is the plan, and maybe that could be read on her face or her actions, but she's not like. She's not actively engaging in this until we actually get there.
It's up to you. You can either oppose it, or it's a difficulty 1 task for the Reverend Mother, for her to realize that you're going to do this.
Sure. Power?
Yeah.
Well, it's a difficulty 0 task.
It's even easier.
Okay, well, I'll just roll it flat 2 then. Focus.
Well, you got it. You read from that pacing what's going to happen in about 900 meters.
And I like kind of go up where I can talk to her, but it's not real obvious that I'm trying to. I'm trying to do it in such a way that I'm not necessarily visibly confronting her about something. I'm just speaking with her, so it's
you're
not
speaking
like...
to her in like the back of the
right.
Because orbital transfers are pretty big. It's just cockpit that's small. It only needs to be so big. Yeah, you're able to get to the Falsgrafen unless the marshal follows after you for some reason. But
No, I wouldn't.
My liege, perhaps before you do whatever it is that you're planning, you might give me an opportunity to question the prisoner. I have a certain occasional skill in this regard.
Erica will look around and say, I would estimate you have 20 seconds. Those 20 seconds are yours to ask.
So, and after that, I assume you're planning to just throw this person off the balcony, as it were.
Erica the Third, I am gonna try to push you to follow your statement. I can be advised, but my word is final and absolute. You have every intention of throwing that guy off. If you are willing to roll...
I don't though.
Oh.
The intention is to interrogate him, and if he refuses to speak, then I'm gonna throw him off.
I will follow that line and say that's your form of interrogation you will perform. If you follow this, comply, which at least means that you have to at least try to oppose the roll for her to, which you were kind of going that direction anyway, but it'd be an opposed roll. If you do so, it is a determination point to you, or you can override that compulsion and the statement gets stricken as you kind of override your own drive.
I'll take the point of determination.
Yep. It is an opposed communicate roll.
And this is to do what? Because
you have a certain interrogation method you're going to do, and that's the way you're going to do it. But you have your Reverend Mother trying to convince you, no, my way can work.
Okay.
Give me some time to do it. And it's like, no, I'm not even doing that. I'm not even considering that. I'm doing it my way. And it's kind of hard for her to force you short of voice, but, she probably won't use voice.
Yeah, I'm not going to use voice on
I was about to say
Erica.
that doing that would be like me turning the bayonets on Lady Seraphina.
Right.
Yeah,
That's something you
exactly.
can't come back from.
Like, we're gonna have a skirmish here in the orbital in a few seconds.
Right, communicate, and I have to use power. Because I will say,
because
it's
power's what's
almost
compelling you. Yeah.
it's almost weird. The being compelled here almost violates the justice statement, right?
Yeah.
But I guess we're not really concerned with that, so it doesn't. There's no mechanical thing that matters for that right now, right?
No. This is the that justice statement is why you would probably try to override your power statement, but you're like, I'm pushing your power. The bad guy, the GM is pushing that drive to the forefront of her mind.
All right.
Okay, and I'm going to say rolling
Communicate something.
communicate and duty, because this is not a good look for the house leader, because this person is in uniform and just holding him off the back of the thing. This is just not this is not how the house roll, and certainly not conducive to the stability of Erica's reign necessarily.
Maybe you should have chosen just as one of your house traits. No. But yeah, no, I won't fight you on that.
Okay. Duty.
See, some houses have just as a trait. You guys have beauty and industrious. You'll beautifully fall off the back.
Okay. Will other memory come into play here? Because I'm probably not the first Reverend Mother to have to talk some person in a powerful position down from doing something stupid. On Silvanus. Or its moons.
Yes, because of Malvolus, because Malvolus is known for being brutal.
Okay.
It wouldn't work for your house, because your house, normally, they're concerned with being industrious and beautiful in all that they do. There are exceptions to that rule, and they've happened multiple times.
There's only a
Falstaff
small
and-
bit of beauty in falling from a mile high.
I
While
mean,
screaming.
there's a certain
Falstaff and his
aesthetic.
living,
Only
breathing,
a sixth of
you
a
know,
mile.
living, breathing example of, everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so, and I will buy I'll give you 3 threat for 4 dice.
Okay.
Because this is opposed roll, right?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I guess.
Neurolinguistics as a focus.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with other memory.
This isn't written in book, but I will say, just because I find it interesting, I'm willing to spend threat to give you more dice there, False Griffin, but I won't force it because your character is still in control of herself. I'm not mind controlling the character. I'm just pushing her drive forward.
I mean, I'll give it. I mean, now that it was invoked, I should give it. I shouldn't just roll 2 dice because that would almost be like intending to fail. So I'll take you up on that. Only that because if I'm being compelled, I'm not gonna half do it.
Do you want a full mint?
But
or
I don't
just
want to
2
use
more?
the determination. I won't save that for later. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, whoops,
I
sorry.
don't think diplomacy or communication, diplomacy or innuendo. Well, innuendo might come into it because you were trying to have this conversation in a way that didn't look like you were shouting at me.
Right, yeah, because my whole thrust here is to, like, not make you look bad. And to stop you from making yourself look bad.
Oops, sorry.
Then
2.
I assume the traits and impulsive and just are probably going to balance out.
Yeah, because that's why you're
But-
doing this.
Angry is going to probably
Add complication.
add complication.
Mhm.
I'm doing this because I'm angry.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah, no?
That would only bring it to 6, though.
6 versus what? 7? Oh.
7.
And since I'm the reason that this is happening, I'll give you guys a momentum.
How much threat did you spend to roll?
Full
for
mit, so that's an
Erica?
AP.
Nice.
I mean, if I'm gonna cause trouble, I might as well reward you guys for going along with it.
Fair's fair. I mean,
So yeah, no, this intense innuendo conversation happens in the back of the orbital.
Lots of eyebrows and pursed lips.
See, I just thought Groucho Marx when you said Groucho Marx when you said eyebrows.
Outside of a book, a dog's a man's best friend. Inside a dog is too dark to read.
Then the false Graffin will take a quick look over at the bodyguard and look back and say, "This is the third time that someone important to me has faced the possibility of death because someone attacked us without me knowing. This is the last time I will tolerate it." And she'll go sit down and attend to other things, leaving the prisoner alone.
And then I shoved them out the back. Why?
Hey, if we were going for an Academy Award, that's what I would do.
Just out of spite.
Yeah, no, that's how you do it, right? You'd have the intense conversation, and then it'd look like it was resolved, like the tension looks like it's resolved, and then you just do it anyways.
Right.
That's very Game of Thrones.
Thankfully, we have better writers.
No,
yeah.
I'm gonna subvert just to be subversive.
So Reverend Mother, you have a bound and gagged bodyguard, disarmed of his goods and stuff. He's left his uniform. Well, they don't feel like they didn't really have time to get him new clothes.
So, was he kind of aware of this conversation about, his fate that just took place?
With that innuendo, he knows you two had a very heated conversation about him, but beyond that, he has no idea.
So, okay, the Reverend Mother will sit down and say, he's gagged, you said?
Yep.
So I will ungag him. Now, please pay very close attention. It is very important for your comfort and potentially ultimate survival, and at the worst, your painless passing, that you be very honest with me now. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
I believe so, Reverend Mother.
Good. Very good. The false Graffin is very angry currently. So I need you to tell me, and I'll use the voice here and give you 3 threat. Why did you and your fellows attack the shuttle?
Yeah. You had your role, I have mine.
Yes, and I do have to do a communicate test with this.
Communicate tests, so I have to do I'm full mit.
Okay.
Try his very best not to say it. Which, it's obvious when someone's resisting the voice, because the voice should just compel you. And if you resist, you're clenching your teeth, you're thrashing in place, you're trying everything you can to not say what you're saying.
Right. I'm going to go for truth, because I will discover the truth. So I will counter your full mit with one of my own. So in total, I'll be giving you 8 threat all told. Voice plus 5 for the full mit. Neurolinguistics for a focus.
How much threat was that? Sorry.
3 for the voice for 3 automatic hits, and then 5 more for a full mit, so 8.
My brain heard 8 and 5. I was like, that sounds wrong.
Oh, fair enough. Well, God knows I can't math. So.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits.
Whoa. Hmm. Trying to see if he has a drive statement that can pull him out of this, but I don't think that's not what he needed here. Because he wouldn't be trying to resist you, he would be trying to win the fight, wouldn't he? Yeah. No, this doesn't make sense. Yeah. Shoot. Nope, he gets nailed. How much do you? That matters. This. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hits. But you get 4 momentum. And I lose 2 threat because I have to shave off that complication. I could just have a complication happen to him, but I'm just spending to make it go away.
Right.
He tries his level best. You notice he tries to say something else, like he's trying to say some sort of litany to try to force himself to say something else that's true-ish, but that's not how the voice works, and people misunderstand that frequently. This guy does not do the right strategy for all his efforts to avoid you. And the question you asked once again was,
why did you and your fellows attack the transport? I think that's close enough to what it was.
I was ordered to
God,
much
by
thrashing,
who?
much thrashing.
By whom?
You know what? For momentum, I'll let you tag on top of that.
Okay.
Our employer from the mem quarter, as he's trying desperately to not say what he's saying, but he can't stop himself.
Order to buy their employer from Mem Quarter.
The mem quarter.
Yes. From the Mem Quarter.
Yeah.
Is that all he has to say about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Marshall,
Yes?
could you check to see if there was a Mem Quarter found on any of the Falsgraf's bodyguards or their effects?
Of course. I will. Have they been searched yet?
They would have had their weapons taken from them, their communicators, things like that.
Okay.
They would have been padded
I
down
will-
full. They were just trying to make sure they weren't dangerous anymore.
Yeah, I'll check through the search inventory. Is there an M quarter?
Give me understand difficulty 1. 'Cause-
Understand duty?
Yeah. Generate 1. Yeah. Memcore is like a thing the size of like a die. Just a little square thing. With
Okay.
gray sides all around that looks blank until you actually start tapping at it to have writing appear.
I will see what the Nemcorder has on it.
As you tap at it, you notice nothing appears on the cube, but it kind of flutters across your eyes so you can see the message. And you see what appears to be some sort of coded message. Like it has to be coded because it looks like a letter from someone's friend talking about some other friend and their uncle. But you don't write missives like that on a memcorder. Oh, sorry. Ixians would do that. No one else writes like that. Paper exists.
Is it possible for me to decode it?
You can try.
Or
Without
would
the aid
that
of a...
require the aid of a mentat?
You'd be able to get a rough gist, maybe, but to truly decode it, you need a mentat.
And
Why does
Cream's not
everybody
here.
keep?
Dang.
Yeah, why does everybody keep sending me away?
Hey, you volunteered this time.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get a gist, assuming that trying to get a gist does not rule out him fully
wouldn't.
decoding it later.
No, it wouldn't. It would be difficulty 4. Understand.
Oh my. Okay. Duty okay?
Yeah.
As a drive? Alright, I will buy 5 dice. Or not 5 dice, but buy up to 5 dice.
Okay, with
So
what?
3 extra dice.
Like what combination of momentum and threat?
We do have enough where
5
you can do it all with momentum.
1 threat.
Yeah.
Well, 5 threat and 5 momentum, 1 threat, because you need 6
Yeah.
to buy full mint.
Oh, yeah. I'm adding wrong. Sorry.
It's okay, you're trying to cheat. We get it. It's fine. It's video
And-
evidence.
Well, I figure since you started.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5.
Oh, you gained 1. Secure vehicle with or win target aboard and go to a location.
Okay.
For
We will
momentum or
need
threat, you
Cream.
might get some clarity. You might get more. You might be able to guess at what some of these things mean.
If I spend what? Sorry?
Momentum or threat.
I'll spend a momentum to try to understand who was the target.
The man in white with regal bearing. Which you think about who was aboard. That would have been the Duke Arconis.
Okay. I don't know that you're getting a lot of threats, so I don't know that I want to spend another threat to understand what the location was. I think we can wait for Kareem for that.
Thus do you find you and you flutter through it, and eventually you just touch at the cube, and the letters go away from your eyes.
Okay. I will look to Johanna and say they were after the Duke. And I will hold up the Nemcorder.
Joanna will pat the knee of the bodyguard. There now. Don't strain yourself. I don't suppose you'd like to tell me who your employer is? Flat out asking him right now, not being witchy.
I don't know. It's... I would get messages, I get orders, carry them out. I get thousands of Solari in my account. Sorry, you wouldn't say thousands. Hundreds of Solari in my account.
Can't spend threat to obtain information, can I?
You can, yeah.
Would hyper awareness kick in with that? Because it does specifically say momentum.
I'd let it go, because you're spending threat in lieu of momentum.
Okay. And really, I don't necessarily need the 4 questions. I just want to know if do I think he's telling the truth here? Because hyper awareness lets me go a little further than just, body language and whatever.
Yeah. He doesn't want to feel the voice again. That's frightening.
Okay.
that hurts resisting it.
Witches are scary.
Mm-hmm.
There now. I believe you. Here, have a sip of water. Give him a little bit of water.
It's the water of life. Ha ha ha. No.
No, it's just blue Kool-Aid. It's fine.
It's like, here, have a menthol.
Right.
I may be threatening to kill you and using my witchy powers on you, but hey, have menthol.
Right. Okay, I think this is where we report to the Volksgraben. But definitely, Joanna will do her best to make sure that it's reporting just to the Volksgraben and not where the Volksgraf.
Do you ask her to come back or something like that? Because he's
Yeah.
sitting up front where the pastors normally would sit
Yeah.
with the kid and stuff. So I believe, Falsgrafen, you're being waved to come to the back again.
I will go.
My liege, it appears that the target of the attack was Duke Arconis. It was a kidnapping attempt. The Falsgraf's bodyguard was kind enough to tell me that they received their instructions through a mimcorder, which the marshal quickly found and has at least partially decoded. I think, Marshal, we'll need a Keem to get a full decode.
Mm-hmm.
Further, and I believe him when he says this, this seems to be a purely mercenary arrangement. I honestly don't believe the bodyguards, or at least the survivor, knew who it was giving them their instructions and filling their bank accounts. I would also suggest that Kareem do a full forensic accounting of their accounts to see what he can learn from that end of things.
Make sure to give him the device and the details when you see him next.
Mm.
So, I will say that Kareem, eventually they do, Arconis and Serafina are able to get a transport of their own out of the clearing and back to the Palace of Silvanus.
Okay.
And they gladly take you along because, so the Sylvanian tribes look very busy and they don't look like they're gonna, it very much looks like the Conclave is over since they seem to be preparing for war. So they're kind of busy with what they're doing. The question becomes, are we moving into an espionage to learn more information, or are we moving into warfare against well, actually, no, I kind of wind that back. It would have to be espionage because you have to figure out where the cult is so you can kill them. So, new scene, not that it matters. matter. These don't matter. First place you land would be at Fortress Landing, in particular. There, she's not there. She's at Agrestis. He's not there. He's at Agrestis. Grab some. These things are still in effect. Agents of Laws. Here. Oop. Oop. They're all out. Those three are over there. You three are here. E, and so E. And I need a new circle. Or Silvanus. Struggling to move my to draw. And Kareem is at the palace. Relevant to know that Arconis is there. So is Lady. Oh, right. So, what I imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, I imagine the focus of your espionage now is to find out where the cult of the Redeemer is. Although you can choose a different target of your espionage if you wish.
No, I think the target is the cult.
Okay.
I will tell you that for free, because this is something you would just know without a roll. I will note to you that there is no zone currently that marks their stronghold, which means you don't currently know where it is, but these different places are places you could go to learn that information. Potentially.
Okay, I have a quality 2 asset of intelligence, Redeemer Inquisition.
Oh, I don't need to mark that. Actually, I do, because you're bringing it up. Okay. What are you going to do with that intelligence?
So our goal is to kind of find the... Erica's wanting us to find the core of their heart to strike against, rather than, like, say, just purging our house of their infiltrators at this point.
I
mean, because in theory we could find the information about where the core of them is to strike at, and then, you know, we've just found that information, and then we can actually do a strike later.
I think purging, then striking.
So, but do you want to? Okay, from the Spy Master's perspective, it might be best to figure out where the stronghold is, and then figure out who the infiltrators are, and then hit them both simultaneously with different actions, because I'm afraid if we do a purge, that's going to alert. That's kind of going to put the wind up them, and then we won't have the drop on them like we might have if we set things up before moving.
That's fine.
I will point out because you could expand your targets to find the local your moon stronghold and the headquarters. So you could have multiple targets for your espionage, because you decide when you escalate out of espionage, unless the people who your target is figure out you're doing it, at which point I might start moving assets around to do things. But for now, the other side doesn't know you're doing this.
Okay,
I mean, they may assume you are, but they don't know you are.
So I'm seeing in that case like 3 targets. Who the infiltrators are within House Beleza, the stronghold on Salutaris, and then the stronghold for the whole system for Silvanus and all of its moons, the heart of the matter. And I'm thinking starts close to home, because at this point they are probably expecting us to start doing something here. So that might actually serve as a Maskarova while we're looking at that, but also looking for the main one. So I don't know if I can pull that off at the same time.
Well, note that you guys are moving in turn order. It's just that my side doesn't know you're attacking me yet. So each of you would do a thing, and then it would loop around, and then... Because you need to do move rolls and stuff like that to go places and investigate things and talk to people.
Right.
Because if you roll a complication or you just straight up fail, I might have a chance to know that... The bad guys might know that you're doing something. Depending on what you're doing.
So, like, when doing this and Joanna has this espionage asset, does she have to move, or does she move her asset?
If she's just consulting the information... I know how to do this, right. You would move your intelligence into You'd either consult the intelligence to see if there's a new zone you can look for, or find, or you'd put it into an existing zone and say, hey, are they here?
Okay.
Or is there a new zone attached to this zone? Because, like, for example, everything here, for simplicity's sake, all these things are Salutaris, because that's the planet you care the most about.
Right.
You care about the Palace of Venice and Silvanus as a planet, but there's a bunch of cities and places down there. There's a bunch of cities on the moon Agrestis, and so on. And actually, I'll pull off intel offices, because that's not relevant to what... and martial office, because I imagine those aren't relevant to your investigation.
One hopes.
And the false prophets' quarters. Fortress courtyards. We won't worry about that. But we do care about these other places, because those are places that might be an issue.
I'd be really worried if they showed up in quarters.
They've been your
damn it, they're in the
handmaids this whole
closets.
time.
They're in the walls.
Girl, your husband. Okay. I know the Marshal has some contacts in the criminal underworld, so I'm remembering that right, aren't I, Mill?
You are correct.
Okay.
Though for you to find that underworld again, I think it's once per adventure you can find them. Actually, I can look it up. What am I doing?
Once per adventure, yes.
Yeah, so you'd have to... You could just find them. Yeah, so yeah. You could just re-find the criminal underworld on in this area, because you know who it is.
So in that case, honestly, because we know that they haven't infiltrated the guard somehow, so I'm going to actually start at Fortress Landing, which I guess would mean it can, I've already moved the intelligence asset is here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and see if pull up the conflict and espionage. And Gaining information, that's what I want. Yeah, it's in this zone where I want to gain information. So I guess this is where I'm going to do. I don't really have to do a move, so I can do
You just do an action, yeah.
yeah.
In what way are you using your intelligence to learn about your possible infiltrators in Fortress Landing? That will tell me what skills involved. Like, are you going around asking people? Or you're reading through reports and seeing if any clues pop up?
It's probably probably a lot of archival work. I mean, I would imagine there would be, there's employment records, there's various interviews and incident interviews. There's knowledge about how the Redeemers like to infiltrate. There's, what are these guards doing on their spare time, kind of thing. So it's more like examining the people at Fortress Landing who work for the house and could be routes of infiltration. So kind of SIGINT and HUMINT.
Oh, it sounds like an understand roll to me.
Okay.
Difficulty will be... Yeah, okay, so difficulty will be... Not rolling opposed because I don't... Oh no, I am. I am rolling opposed. This may show how thoroughly they were able to hide themselves, if they're even there. Because they may have a false lead. They'll point you there. I don't want to be found, so, full met. AP, everybody.
Hooray! Ish. Okay. Yes, I guess I'll spend a full minute right back at you.
I gain an AP. I don't know what I'd spend it on, but,
Good for you, I guess.
That's not how it works.
It is if I say it is. Modifius. No, it isn't. It's not in the book. Stop doing that.
Buy for a trait?
Yeah.
Since I'm literally doing spy stuff?
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I can throw at it, so it's not terrible.
I was trying to think of a trait to throw back. I'm like, no, neither of those apply right now.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There it is, right there. 1, 2? Really, guys? That's terrible. Terrible roll. You gained 4 momentum.
Plus 2 float from the quality 2 asset.
What's float? All I know is Volat.
That's Klingon.
Well, in this universe, it's Salutaris float.
Yeah, you're able to determine the spies in Fortress Landing. You know who they are.
Okay, so I would like to use that 2 float to create a trait that we learned that without tripping any alarms on their part.
I'll get that to you for free because you succeeded.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Especially the way you looked into it. So. I suppose another way to do it, you could spend those 2 to give the advantage that's hard for me to figure that out, because I might spend a turn them trying to figure that out. Like trying to roll to see what you did.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah,
what the
make
opposed roll was for. Never mind. No, that's exactly what my
okay.
opposed roll was for, was to stop you from seeing me. I didn't know you saw me.
Okay, so then let me spend those 2 to give the marshal an advantage of being able to get her forces, which will probably do the arresting and whatever, in to make it harder for them to see her organizing and getting her people in position.
Okay.
Good.
And that's me, I guess.
The spies are on the board. What action would I take with them? Currently, no action, because I don't know I'm in danger, so their turn just comes and goes. I can't do anything if they don't know what's wrong. They know you're upset, but you guys have been upset for over a month, so, that's not news.
I'm in
Goes back to
danger.
you guys. Someone other than the Reverend Mother may engage in the espionage. Or you can create or use a support character if you so wish.
Marshall?
Can I stage, can I use my troop asset, to stage to stage them just to get them ready? And maybe move them subtly to the spaceport so that they can deploy wherever they're needed.
I think they're needed here.
Oh, never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, I think the idea is that you'll use your police to take care of the problem on this planet, which we've located is right here.
Right.
And then I'll use the troops to take care of the problem on another planet.
Gotcha. Sorry. Had a brain fart there. So would that be... Would moving in with the marshal... Do we want me to move in with marshals immediately, or do we want me to hold off so that we can
No, we need
synchronize?
We need to hold off to find out where the other place is.
Gotcha. Okay. I will...
I think what we should do is, yeah, you might do something preparatory, but I think let's, yeah, you and me can do something preparatory, but I think we have to wait another round for the spymaster to go again to find that other place.
Understood. In that case, I'll just get them staged and on their transport ready to go.
Like try to establish an advantage where they're a lot faster than they normally would be.
Yeah. Call it lying in wait.
Yeah, let's call that a battle roll difficulty 2.
Okay. Tactics work as a focus?
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with power on this one. I think power makes sense for my drive statement. Because we are attempting to use our military might with due care and wisdom. And difficulty 2, so I'll spend a momentum for 1 extra die. And I apologize, Jim. Did you say my combat tactics focus applied, or no? I forget.
It does, yes.
Okay.
How much were you spending to me?
1 momentum.
Roger. You succeed, gain a momentum, but a comp has appeared. Do you wish the complication to hit, or do you want to give me 2 threat?
Dang it. Take 2 threat.
Roger. So, yeah, your already rather rapid flying elite marshals, because of your transport, are all staged and ready to go, but in a way that it's not obvious that they're ready to go.
Good.
Bad guys would go. I have no reason to think I'm in danger, so none of my things move. Goes to the treasure or to the Falscraft.
Corinne could go.
If you want to go, go ahead. I don't think I know what the hell is going on either.
Yeah,
Well, but we say, but remember, you had a specific mission, which was to try to get House Arconis and Valorian to root out the cult on their own world.
Okay. Shit. How do I go about doing that?
The only reason I thought you would be good at it is because you had already been talking with Lady Seraphina, so I know you are at least have a cordial relationship with her.
Okay. Can I try and get into try to get Lady Seraphina's prowess in diplomacy here on my side to see if they'd be willing to start rooting out the problem on their end. Like, she has the dukes here. Why can't she just, say a couple of things, nice things?
Which Duke do you want her to target? Because she's an asset of yours, so she can be employed, and she's in the right place for it, at least for one of the Dukes. You don't know where the other Duke is right now.
Yeah, we'll do the one that's here then, in that case.
Communicate roll. Difficulty will be... the question becomes, do you want her to divulge what happened? Because he doesn't know, the Dukes don't know what's going on. All they know is that, you guys rushed off, he was almost kidnapped, and the Silvanus tribes are preparing for war. But they haven't been told what's going on. Lady Seraphina does know, but she doesn't know if you want her to tell him that.
I'd say it isn't worse for wear for the other dukes to perhaps know this, but I would like her to try and maybe obfuscate the truth a little bit, so it's only clear to the one who's listening, and not to the others.
Okay, so just being clear to the Duke, but making sure onlookers don't catch it. Yeah, I got you.
Exactly. Like, we're not trying to raise panic. We're trying to, get the Duke to think about it.
I have to check something. It's opposed, or is it a flat roll? It is an opposed roll currently. To make sure she isn't overheard. And by full mit, another AP.
Okay, so I'm rolling my stats, right?
Yep.
Would you take justice? We are all equals under the auspices of the Emperor.
And that's why you're making sure he's told, sort of thing?
Yeah. Like, he deserves to know the truth. Okay, like, fine. We're all being under assault. You are perhaps as well.
I'll take it, yep.
Let's clean it up.
I'll take that drive.
Does she have a focus?
It's you. She's acting as your asset.
Persuasion?
Yep.
With 4 momentum, I can buy 2 dice, I think?
3 would buy you 2 dice.
Yeah. That's a hell of a roll.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's got a good roll, too.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good golly. That was close.
Whew.
This has mobilized the forces of House Arconis whoops, wrong thing. Forces of House Arconis to start seeking out cult. He has now been made aware that there are of what's going on, and he. I will say that is an asset that you have control over there, Kareem, because you're working through Serafina to let her know what you know, so he can move his people around.
Man, I really ought to buy her dinner sometime, huh?
You definitely owe her dinner. I will note that these people here, he has various envoys in his service. You can either have him mobilize his envoys to help you in the espionage, which means he'll help you with this thing, or you can have him mobilize troops. So in a warfare, they can come in as an ally. So it depends on whether you want them to help now or later.
Do you think we need the help now, guys?
I'm not sure.
So, right.
Tell you what, I think we can keep them in the reserve for now, and if it turns out, we'll need them, I'll pop them off. Sound okay?
Sure.
Sounds good.
So you're raising their troops for now in case when war starts, but you can always try to roll again to get the envoys in as well.
Yeah.
So allied troops are being mobilized quietly by the Duke. Bad guys did not make the roll, so as far as they're concerned, the ducal consort's doing an exercise. What? This happens sometimes. I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on it, but who knows why they're doing that?
Yeah.
It goes to the false Grafen. Or the false Grafen. Ha ha ha.
False Trixie.
I'm funny.
I kind of have to wait until Spymaster can tell me where to send troops. So until then, can I work from the Spymaster's information to find out how the spies got here?
You can, yeah. The asset's in the same area as you are, and the player, I assume, is not refusing you the asset.
No, sure.
So you are... I believe there'd be an understand roll. Gonna be opposed because I don't want you to know how I got in, because that would trace back to who sent me. Oh, full mit, another AP. Oh, you guys have me in a lot of trouble. The bad guys are they don't even know they're in trouble. This threat's story threat. They don't even know they're in up to their necks.
Yeah, I did read the espionage thing really carefully before creating my character.
Duty, because there's no record or detail in the fortress that can be hidden from me.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes doubly sense because you have a fairly loyal. You take care of your people. Even the servants have a decent life here, so it's like, you know what? Anyone who's loyal to this house would help me.
Okay, I'll spend it back.
All in threat.
2 momentum, so 4.
4 to me. Well.
Oh wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Nothing I can do about that.
3. Why is she looking into that, I wonder? Are we made? Maybe not. But we might want to do something about it. Unfortunately, we already went, so we can't. Oh wait, it's a new round. Okay. So the false Graffin's looking into us. Well, looking at how anyone might have gotten in. That doesn't mean she knows we're here. It just means she's looking into us. I should probably move because there's a lot of people here who turn this into a skirmish really quickly, and I'll do that. going to do a difficulty 2 task to move my spies. I'm going to do it. Well, I'm going to do it subtly because boldly narratively doesn't make sense. I'm trying not to. Oh. No, I can do it boldly because I might be able to trick one of you guys to move your asset. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Still difficulty 2. I'm gonna spend a threat because I should be able to hit a diff 2. Don't want to whiff it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So gain 2. Now normally this movement would be hidden, but you guys, one of you knows that they exist, so boop, asset moves into the criminal underworld. They are going to have the Blezza's Condemned asset move to spaceport, thinking that they're making a run for it to the spaceport to flee.
All right.
I would love to keep. No, I boldly, so I couldn't keep if I wanted to. So it's back to you guys.
So, do we realize that they've tweaked to us and they're legging it?
You've twigged that someone looked into their background, and that's why they moved. They don't know they're being tracked. Like, they don't know that you know who the spies are. Because on paper, a bunch of people suddenly went on book tickets to leave a spaceport.
Okay, so do we need to find the spies again, or are we?
You still know
Keep
where
an
the
eye.
spies are. They retreated to the criminal underworld.
Okay.
But for me to make them disappear, I have to move them again to a new hidden location. This is the area I have to go to get out of here.
Okay.
Because I
So,
can't move openly. Well, I could have, but that'd be the spaceport. And
Marshall, do you want to maybe move on them there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you
Sounds
go ahead
like
and
a
go?
plan. So would that be a move roll, Jim?
it would be. Are you moving yourself or your marshals?
Good question.
And I'll note to remind you that if you move subtly and you succeed, it costs nothing to keep the initiative for someone else to go. If you move boldly, you can force me to move one of my assets, which currently the only asset you're aware of is the spies. You could force me to move them somewhere.
You could move to the underworld, forcing them back to the fortress where your marshals are.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll do that.
So it's a move difficulty 2. It doesn't. It almost always is move, but there are, if you can think of some great reason why something else should be done. But usually it's move because you're showing your adeptness at knowing where things should be, how to get from place to place in a certain way.
Move makes sense to me in this case. Duty okay?
Yep, I can see that. Yeah, especially a marshal going into the criminal underworld to smoke out the spies. Makes sense to me.
Take 3 threat because I'm buying 2 extra dice.
Okay.
Whew.
Yeah, you just do it. You boldly move into the criminal under. You move across your moon and rapidly enter into those quiet little houses out in the countryside where the criminal elements drink wine and eat fine cheeses and in dark rooms secure deaths and arson and the greatest crime of all in this world, intellectual property theft. And treason's up there too, I guess, but you know.
Don't you fuck with my copyright.
Well, the spies are gonna get spooked because you come in, you know, bold as brass, not hiding, so they leg it before you, but you trick them into legging where?
Back to the spaceport.
Do you mean to the spaceport or back to Fortress Landing?
Sorry. Fortress Landing. My bad. I misspoke.
The spies think, aha, we'll double back on our own tracks. She'll never catch us. They don't even know we're here. Haha. We just don't want to stay there because maybe the Marshal will see us. Turn goes back to you guys because the only asset that I can move has already moved.
Does Erica want to maybe use the marshals and just go ahead and take these guys?
Can't use the marshals.
And she's already taken her turn.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see a dot. So.
Well, no, Erica hasn't used her turn.
Oh, Erica, sorry, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
But Erica's troops are at the spaceport.
But yeah, which I need to know where the main base is. So I need you to do that.
Right. That's why I was wondering if you could use the marshals that are at landing, if the marshal would let you.
You spies, you could do that if you guys wanted to.
Why would I want to do that?
I don't know if you wanted to go ahead and just arrest the spies that had infiltrated us, because the marshal's move kind of put them right back into that trap. But I can go ahead and try and find the main base, if you want.
Yeah, because the spies can't go until I go, and I can just wait until after you've done something.
Excuse me. Sorry, allergies. Okay. So honestly, I think I'm going to move my intelligence into the criminal underworld to start my search for the wider base of the Redeemer Inquisition, on the theory that one way or another they're probably dealing with somebody in the criminal underworld. And I'd like to do that subtly, if possible.
Yep. Difficulty 2.
Move. I'm going to argue for move in truth because I am trying to find out. Okay. Could I use my focus in stealth since I'm moving subtly?
You can, yeah.
Okay. What's my difficulty here? 2. Okay. No momentum.
As a side note, usually that only goes up if from 2, if I spend threat, I suppose, but also if the area has defenses. So like if you're going into a headquarters or into a hideout that's well fortified, then the difficulty will climb up because there's things there.
So this isn't an opposed roll.
No, because you're just moving. This is just you mobilizing your asset.
I'll buy a third with threat. Just so 1 threat. There's a focus.
Gained 1.
Okay. And I think because we moved stealthily, we can if as long as we're doing another espionage, we can keep the initiative.
You can keep the initiative for free, but it's going to go back to you guys anyway.
Oh, okay.
Well, the only reason you do bold is if you wanted to move the asset you know about around.
Right.
So it goes to the False Griffin or the Treasurer.
You want to go Winchester? Because I don't know what else I could do except mobilize the troops. Is that enough?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do. Basically, I need Inslee to take about 5 turns, and then I'll have something to do.
You could spend a turn trying to develop your own temporary asset, whether it's intelligence or information here in the fortress. Or you could get your condemned to do something in the spaceport. You could move yourself to prepare to do something. Worst to worst, you can attempt an understanding roll to spend your turn trying to pull a hint out of me, where it's like, what does my character know that would be a good move? It's like, okay, well, your character knows more about this than any of us do about espionage.
I'll move to the spaceport because if we have to move the troops, I'll go with them.
Give me move difficulty 2. As you begin making arrangements to leave the fortress landing and get to the spaceport in a timely manner.
Power, there's not really anyone who can stand in my way.
True. I'll take that. It's my car. I own it. I own all the cars here. Oh, you spent a
Momentum, yeah.
Begin making preparations, but the travel there is slow. Don't move from Fortress Landing in an espionage sense. You're still like on the way sort of thing, but it'll take more time to get. They'll take another action to get there. Bad guys can't go, so it goes to the treasurer.
Anything I could do that's similar to a rally action from ST8 to try and gather, momentum?
No rally action. You would do a simple task like moving and spend a lot, but there's no diff 0 generate momentum thing. You're usually doing something or either creating an asset, talking to somebody, trying to go somewhere.
Okay, think I could, since my job is perhaps done here, I could move myself to be with the others in Fortress Landing.
Yep. Difficulty 2.
Move duty?
I would say so, yeah. I don't think your duty statement fights that at all. Nope, it would not. Definitely doesn't.
Nope. You secure a orbital and quickly return back to Fortress Landing. And on that, I think we'll stop. As we have an espionage to figure and a war to settle. So, I think you guys are getting closer and closer to taking on the cult. And managed to get out of the conclave with more positive than negative. I don't think there's any actual negative. There was theoretical negative, but no actual negative there. Not for you anyway. Negative for other people. Yeah. So we'll see, everyone, how exactly they're going to take on the cult and smash them from the face of Silvanus, Agrestis, and Salutaris. For everyone watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing, and we'll see you all again next time.